Hey, Soul Warriors, I'm sure you've heard about the law of attraction.
And I'm sure that you have struggled with manifestation. Well, hang tight because there's so much more to this story. Did you know that there's not just one, but there's actually 12 universal laws? That's right, all 12 are in play when it comes to creating the life we want. It's like trying to bake a cake and you only have flour. No wonder manifestation feels incomplete. The movie The Secret gave us all a tiny slice of that cake, but today we're serving up the whole cake. So let's dive into the 12 laws of the universe for the complete roadmap to manifestation. Are you ready to transform your reality? Let's go.
All right, let's have cake.
Let's have cake. I love
The whole
cake.
cake.
The whole cake. This tiny little slice of cake. It's insulting.
Yeah. I mean, we're so focused on the law of attraction when there's so many others, and they all need to be aligned.
Because everybody wants to manifest, everybody wants to create. So what did the industry that's trying to sell you things create? One tiny little movie that focuses on one little tiny piece of the pie. So you probably manifested a little bit with it and it felt really good doing it because you were aligned in one of these 12 ways. But if you weren't aligned in the other 11, you got probably mediocre results. Or if you didn't get any, that's why.
It's like I'm doing all the things, but nothing's happening. And yeah, because all the other parts of manifesting aren't in play.
Exactly. So then you're doubting your power, you're doubting your spirituality, and you're starting to fall off the wagon of it instead of staying strong with it. And then things, of course, are going to fall apart and get worse. So when you do pick it back up, it's going to take a while to build, unless you know all the different 12 areas to work on. So the first one is the law of divine oneness.
We are all one. That's the way it works.
Yeah, we've talked about this a lot in all of our social media and all of our content, that we're all pieces of this like little threads of a giant cosmic fabric, if you will.
Yeah, for sure. We've said it many, many times that what you do, what you say, how you act has some sort of a ripple effect.
Exactly, ripple effect. I love that because it's like picture yourself standing at the edge of a pond and you throw a pebble in. Now, we all know that the pebble is not going to affect just the first drop that it hits. It's going to go down, it's going to affect tons of drops, and then ripple out and affect the entire pond. Yeah. So this is the same with your actions, your thoughts, your feelings, how you're releasing the hurts inside of you, how you're releasing the joy inside of you. It's all going to ripple out.
Right, exactly. So if you're sitting there thinking it's like whatever I do or say in my life has no effect on the people around me, you're absolutely wrong.
Definitely.
Because it does affect, something is going to trigger on somebody else and all those things. And it's, it just all combines together and becomes a hot mess.
I mean, you want an example of it if you're at a show or a concert or something and the person that you've paid to see walks out on the stage, the entire energy of the entire place shifts really, really quickly because that person's talent. Yeah, exactly.
On that person.
And that person's coming out to share their gift with everyone. And so it's rippling back and forth and all through the audience.
It's pretty cool.
It is very cool.
It feels cool, too.
It does.
I remember the last concert we went to, the Mark Anthony concert. It was, I was waiting for years to see him. And it was just like wild. The energy was just, I loved it.
Yeah, a concert is the best way to explain how energy feels since some of us can't see it. So, all right, the number 2 is the law of vibration.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this is everything is energy. I'm energy. The desk is energy. This plant, it's a fake plant, but this fake plant is energy. Yeah. Everything is energy. So we're all the same thing. Again, back to the law of oneness. You're going to see a lot of overlap with all of these. And this is why sometimes when you work on one, it's kind of bubbling into the other. So you might get some manifestation. I think of a good example. The best way is a radio. When you want to listen to, say you want to listen to rap. And so you're tuning in and you're finding the right frequency. And then it comes in crystal clear, and then you're jamming. Yeah. And it totally shifts your vibration. So think of this as just tuning into whatever you want. You want more joy, tune more into joy. You want more love, tune more into love. So that's rippling out of you, and then that's what can come back to you.
Right, because we attract whatever we're feeling, thinking, acting on.
Exactly. So. All right, third one is the law of action. We talk about this a lot too. Sitting in meditation and doing your spiritual work is vitally important to still yourself, to tap into the vibration that you want to be, to feel you're part of that oneness, wrapping all three together. But then going out and taking, this is another way that this law is commonly thought of, the law of inspired action. So that you're going out into the world, you're taking inspired action.
Yeah, every little step. It doesn't have to be big things, but you're doing something every single day that's getting you closer and closer to whatever it is that you're looking to manifest. You know, you add them all together and just take those little steps, because without action, it is just a damn dream.
Exactly. That's a very good way to put it. And you've seen this commonly, like, you know, even going back to school, I remember a kid who, like, all they wanted to do was art. That's all they wanted to do. And they were constantly told that, you know, you need a real profession. You can do that in your spare time. That's a hobby. And this kid would sit like on the bus and draw, and while they were listening to a teacher, they'd be drawing. It was this constant inspired action, this constant, even though doing what they have to do to get through this world, this constant focusing down of their energy into what really truly they knew they were on this earth to create. So law of inspired action.
Yeah.
Number 4 is the law of correspondence. I'll get witchy with this, the as below, as above, as below, as within, as without. So we talk all the time, if you're full of anger and rage and all these really heavy vibrational emotions, this is what's going to come out, and then you're going to start seeing it all around you everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. You know, personally, you know, back in the day when I wasn't so enlightened, I guess, for lack of a better word, I was an angry person. Oh my God, was I angry because of all the different things that had occurred in my world. And I realized that that's exactly what I was attracting. You know, I was attracting more angry people coming at me. I was, you know, fighting, arguing, and all this stuff, because that's my energy was about anger, was about confrontation, was about all those things. So that's exactly the kind of people I encountered on my day to day, and until I finally shifted that energy to a more positive, kind, empathetic kind of energy and way of being. And that's when it all changed. So it's there for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, I was always in, like, I wanted to serve and I wanted to help people, which is very noble and very good, until you start doing it from the people pleasers place of it. Yeah. So I was getting a lot of needy people and clingy people. And then I was like, I'm not liking what's around me. Instead of, the more I've meditated and the more I've centered into just peace and service, peace and service, peace and service, until it feels like that's me. Now I'm getting people who are doing kind things for me. And when I'm doing kind things for them, they're either surprised, but not needy, not clingy, or they're just very grateful, very appreciative. So it's a whole different energy that's created around me.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's a good one. And then we have the law of cause and effect. That's for every action. If you remember science class back in high school, a long time ago, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So you're putting something out there, angry people, you being an angry person comes back at you. It's just this push and pull. And it doesn't mean that I'm doing something nice, so only nice people are going to come to me. Like, it's not.
It really depends why you're being nice. If you have an agenda, then that's a whole different story. You might get more of that instead of the actual I'm being nice.
Exactly.
You know, so.
Yeah, the bottom line of any of this is not to give to get. Like, I'm not sitting in meditation and doing my mood board so I get $1 million and a Lamborghini. Like, that's not it. That actually leads into the next law, but we'll get to the law of compensation in a second.
It feels to me a little bit like a form of contrast, like where there is dark, there is light. You know that.
That's a later on.
That's like.
So we're jumping around here.
Okay,
you're getting into the law of polarity now.
It kind of gives me that vibe.
Yeah, it's more. I would let's see, an easy way, conscious decision making. That's how I'll put it.
Okay.
This is you. I mean, you can be angry, but you're deciding to be empathetic in a situation instead of letting your anger spill all over. I can be a people pleaser, but I can know, like, I just want to serve. Does that person really need my help right now? Or do I just want to help because it makes me feel good? It's like catching yourself and really consciously deciding what actions you need to take and what actions you don't. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So the law of compensation. everybody thinks like, why didn't the law of attraction just start with this one? Because that's what I'm looking for is the money. It's very closely related to the law of cause and effect. But it's not just about money. It can be. The law of compensation says that everything that you put out in into the universe will compensate you for that. So the more value you are providing, the more you will be compensated. The best way I like to look at this is the value I'm providing to myself. Like, how am I growing? How am I educating myself? How am I showing up in the world? Am I going above and beyond? Because when you're putting out more and you're putting out more, I did this in, we've both done this in businesses, your pet sitting business and my medical billing business. When we built them, we went above and beyond for our customers. We make sure that they know that we've got them, we're there 100%, and then we back that up with our actions and our words and everything, the care that we give to them in their service.
It's like truly being in your best self.
Exactly.
It really is about you being everything that you want in return. You give it to yourself first, so that you're so super balanced in an empathetic, grateful place, so that you're emanating that out into the world, and that's what you're going to be getting back. So I mean, it's just like, be the best self.
And not always right away. So don't be upset if, like we went above and beyond for our clients for many years. And then the business at some point just like popped. I've had people that I've just known for years that, I've had interactions with at different like events that I go to annually or whatever. And then at some point it just solidified into a real solid connection because we've built up this law of compensation thing, both of us. And then the payoff is like this really sweet friendship or whatever. It can come in so many different ways, and don't also box in how you want it to look. Okay, let's get on to the next one because we're only halfway through. Number 7 is the good old law of attraction. This is like attracts light, being the magnet for what you want. It kind of encompasses and touches on some of the others, but misses out on the inspired action part.
Right.
Misses out on truly understanding the compensation part. Doesn't really talk completely about oneness. It's more about like just sit in positive thought, and which consciously, yes, you want to as much as possible hold yourself in a positive vibration, and also consciously, when you're finding you're dipping into those darker energies, those lower vibrations, the anger, the guilt, the shame, whatever it is that pick your poison of how you've expressed your dark energies, that you're really just honoring them. You're not like getting lost in the sauce.
Yeah, I think that when you're in that specific attraction part of things, is you are getting to decide how it's going to look and how it's going to manifest and what you have to go through to make it happen.
And I think that's also a missing piece from what we've been taught about the law of attraction, is it's perfect to visualize, what does it feel like that I want? What does it look like? And all those things. But then surrender to the universe and trust that they will deliver what is best for you. Because a lot of times I see people box themselves into something that's only a little bit bigger than where they're at right now, when the universe wants to hand them this big giant thing over here that's 1,000,000 times better, because usually what we can imagine is only what we've seen. Right. Or we've watched other people experience. Right. It's nothing that we truly know, so we don't understand how to embody that feeling. So decide what you want, decide how it feels, send that out so that the universe knows what direction you're going, so they can find matches, but then okay, and bring it in. I'm ready to receive whatever it is. Right. And don't hold too tight to it. All right, number 8, I'm going to totally read number 8 because it's long. The law of perpetual transmutation of energy. That's long. Perpetual means it's always happening. Transmuting, it's always changing. Energy is always changing around us. It never, ever, ever stops. So if you ever feel like you're stuck, you are anchoring yourself into wherever you're comfortable, and people are most comfortable in crap they don't like. Because at least they understand it, and it could get worse. So I'm not going to move from here. So you're constantly generating and recreating the I'm stuck story to try to stay there. because the change is getting scary for you because you don't know. And it could be that big thing you've been calling in. Like 9 out of 10 times, it's because what you're currently sitting in needs to fall apart. A belief, a business you've built, a job you hate, a relationship you no longer belong in. It's ready to fall apart and you're just holding on to it. I want to give you a quick message before we get back to this episode. Unlock the secrets of your soul for free with Soul Notes. Say goodbye to feeling stuck and hello to the validation of your alignment. These weekly prompts are filled with reminders, gentle nudges, and sometimes a kick in the ass, all with love from your soul. Don't just take our word for it. Try Soul Notes for yourself and see the difference it can make in your life. Trust us, your soul and you will thank you. Just go to soulnote.org. That's SOULNOTE.org. Now back to our podcast.
Right. I mean, the way it feels like to me is like when you're at the beach, right? And you're in the water and you're like just like, let's say, ankle or knee deep, whatever. And there is strong current. You notice that when it comes, the ocean comes in and you feel that current, right? And then when it starts to go back out into itself, you feel like your feet are being sucked down. Mm-hmm. And then you feel the pressure of the ocean going out. Mm-hmm. That's what it feels like to me. And that's when you're resisting the energy, you're resisting the change. That's where the stuck part comes into play, and that's what it feels like. So regardless of where you're at, the energy is going to be doing that. It's still going to flow. It's still going to do its thing. It's still, no matter what you say or do, is going to do its job. Okay, whether you want it to be a resistant energy based upon the fact that you're just anchoring, I'm going to, dig my heels in kind of thing, then that's on you. Because the energies always do their job.
Exactly. Yes. And that leads right into the next one, which is the law of relativity, where you decide what weight you put on something. You decide the meaning on something. No. The universe isn't. So you're deciding you're stuck. Mm-hmm. You're deciding by not moving, by not exiting the relationship, the job, the business, whatever it is that no longer serves you, you're deciding to stay there. And then you're applying the meaning of I'm stuck.
Right.
But you're the one not moving.
Right.
Or you're doing all these things, again, that make you feel comfortable. Be like, but I'm taking action. Look, I'm trying to make everything great. I've been there. Mm-hmm. I do 1,000,001 things, but that help keep me where I'm comfortable because I'm scared. Mm-hmm. And we get into places where we don't want to admit that we're scared, and we don't want to admit that things mean we decide that they are facts, and then we'll back them up with all the evidence so we can be right. Instead of like, no, I'm applying meaning that person did this thing to me, and therefore I am a victim, and I'm going to sit here solidly in my victim mentality and not move because they did me wrong. When the only real way to move along is to allow the energies to shift and separate and change in you. And, what did you learn from it? How can you move on? Instead of looking over here at what keeps bothering you, look over here. Yeah. More importantly, look in here. That's your bottom line. So law of relativity is really listening to the stories that you keep telling and that drum that you keep beating and how it's not serving you anymore. All right. The law of polarity. You were mentioning this earlier, the opposites and the extremes, the black and the white. And boy, have we been seeing this a lot on the planet lately. You've got the political far right and the far left, like everything is now far. Mm-hmm. Used to be right and left or just red and blue, and now it's like, if you're in the United States, if you're elsewhere, you probably know the shit show that we're calling the United States right now.
It's like this form of imaginary separation.
Yeah.
Because it's like we're one regardless. That's just a given, okay? And here we are. Oh, we're gonna be here and we're gonna be there. But
we're going to point fingers at each other.
Here we are in this fucking container at the same time because we are one. So whatever is going on here, that polarity is happening. And it's crazy. It's crazy to fucking watch what's going
It
on in the
is.
world right now.
So the more that you're pointing, like, you're on that side of the war and you're on this side of the war and you're on that side of politics, and you're like, the more you're doing that and then the other side's doing it back to you, it's mirroring the exact same energy.
Exactly.
You all think it's a different energy because you, again, the relativity law, you think that you're right.
Yeah.
And it's the vibration that we're all trying to gain here is the unity, love, and peace. So if it's not feeling like that, if you're fighting for what you believe in and you're railing against other things, that's lower vibrations that you're putting out into the planet.
Yeah.
So even if it's for a noble cause and you really believe in something, I'm not saying, don't do something to make something shift. Like, don't take action out in the world. But if you're having those lower feelings, this is where you're taking a look at, okay, my emotions are way over here, or my beliefs are way over there. And how can I come here where I'm feeling peaceful and I'm feeling content in my being? Because then that starts to come out. And the more that we're all feeling like that, those ripple effects create unity and things will settle down for all of us.
Yeah, I mean, if we're consistently in turbulence, be it within ourselves or the outer world in general, that is all we're going to be resisting on. Okay, the turbulence is going to be there. It's going to show up in whatever way it shows up. It's going to intertwine itself, because that's the energy that you're putting out there within yourself. So, like we always tell you, if you're in a balanced, mindful, kind, authentic place, your sovereignty, then you're going to emanate differently. Okay? And it's going to affect Joe Schmo here, Joe Schmo there, on some level. Doesn't matter. You don't have to dictate how it is, but it's going to affect it just simply because you're sitting in your sovereignty.
We'll have to tag we'll tag the sovereign video that we just did up above, the archetype of the sovereign, so you can.
Because you have nothing to prove there.
Exactly.
Absolutely nothing to prove. Nothing to argue.
Right. Law 11 is the law of rhythm. This is
Like music rhythm.
like music rhythm. There is music rhythm. It always comes back to I'm not a musician, but you have all the stanzas and I don't know, but it always comes back to the chorus or whatever. It's a rhythm of the song.
The bridge and all that
The
stuff.
bridge, and there's things to bridge different things, just like energy. There's things to bridge different shifts, different situations, from job to job, from relationship to relationship. The ebb and flow of the tides, the same thing.
I'm all about the drop the beat. I love it when like that vibration of a beat drop. Yeah.
That's a vibrational shift. So there you go. There's your answer. Yeah. Homework complete. This is how quick you can work through things when they come up to you. So also it's day and then it's night, or the cycles of the moon. I think the best one is the seasons. Because we just completed the dark season and now the light is returning, but it's kind of cold. So as the light's returning, we're looking within and we're pulling the light up within ourselves. And then we always know the spring comes next. Always, every year, the spring comes, regardless of what's happening, regardless of how stuck you feel or how much you've planted your feet. Change will come and spring will come and things are different. I mean, think back when you were in school, how different life was compared to now.
Right. It's funny because I've been texting with my niece this morning because it snowed here, and she lives in Florida and she loves the snow, and she she said that she gets tired of the unnatural hell of the heat of Florida. And I thought that was hilarious, but we were talking about the seasons. And because for me, I love spring and fall.
Yeah.
There is, I feel like it's so balanced as far as weather is concerned. It's not too cold, it's not too hot, it's not snowing, maybe a little rain here and there, but yeah, we were talking about the cycles of the season, and it was just like when she ever said that, the unnatural hell of the heat of Florida was. Yeah. I'm like, that's great.
And what you just said makes sense energetically too, because in spring, we're finally coming out of all of our winter's work.
Yeah.
So it is a new energy. It's fresh. It is more balanced. The transition is over. Like winter is a transition time.
Yeah.
And then you're planting all this new stuff. And now you're working all summer. When the energies are hotter, things are growing and things are happening, and growth can be uncomfortable sometime, and growth can make you uncertain of who you are or what's happening. So it can be a little bit of an interesting time.
Yeah.
And then you get to fall, you're reaping your harvest. So everything that you've been doing for the last 9 months is starting to come to fruition. So you're getting the crops, the money, the whatever, it's all starting to come in and manifest.
So I like how different the vibration feels from one season to the next. It's really interesting. Like in the winter time, I feel like the energies are very like slow and like it kind of has that kind of like wave to it and all that stuff. And then as you get into spring, it starts to pick up and pick up and pick up until you're in full blown summer, and you're go 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 go. You know, you got kids out of school, you got vacations, you got all these different things. The sun's shining, it's warm out. You know, you want to hit the pool, hit the beach, and all those things. And then it starts to, you know, when the kids go back to school and all that stuff, and then it starts to get that rhythm. There's a rhythm within all these things that, you know, if you catch it, you're able to kind of flow with it.
Yeah. So this is the being aware. So if you're trying, like when the winter season is slower energy and it's very internal, but you're trying to manifest something outside of you, that would be a lot more difficult.
Yeah.
Than if you're
bumping into the flow.
So it's paying attention to the natural rhythms of day and night, of your own body, of the air, of everything, so that you can attune to those and more easily flow with them.
And I'll tell you that the easiest way to kind of like when you're feeling like you're sitting in some level of resistance or anything like that, or not going with the flow, pause, breathe. Pause, breathe. That automatically resets you so that you can feel exactly where the current is going. So do that.
Definitely. Or pause and move your body. If you're in a place where you can just start moving with whatever the energy feels like, move it, because it changes the energy. It's doing that whole transmutation thing. And then, why are you laughing?
It reminded me of the other day when you and I started jumping in the kitchen.
Oh yeah, we were doing this nervous system regulation thing.
We
that
both
we were
like
trying.
all of a sudden do.
We both just started doing it, and we turned and looked, and we were both like doing this weird hopping thing.
It was great.
It was
It
very
reminded me of
playful.
that.
It was funny. Yeah.
But it shifted.
It totally
It
shifted everything.
You, shifted me. It shifted the energy of the house, like the whole thing.
Yeah, we both had some like aches and pains going on. The energy was just kind of whatever. You know, it wasn't bad, but it was just whatever. And then it got like funny and fun and joyous, and the whole rest of the night was really, really nice.
So it made me think about it when you said movement.
Yeah. Totally. Movement is key, and nervous system regulation is a big thing, because there's so much trauma constantly that's racking up for everybody, and everybody's walking around with unregulated nervous systems, not knowing how to properly speak to each other and act around each other, or manage their energy anymore because they physically can't.
Right.
But that's a whole other video. So let's get on to the last one, is the 12th law, the law of gender. Now, this is not male and female gender, even though it sounds like that. This is masculine and feminine energy.
Which we all have in us.
Everybody has it. We actually have a whole video on that as well.
Yes.
Masculine energy is the action, is getting things done, is providing a solid, stable foundation for yourself. It's not just running in willy-nilly. Feminine energy is being very creative, very receptive, open to receiving ideas, compensation, shifts, all of it. It's just,
and they both intertwine, because feminine energy can also be a very masculine, creative energy, and vice versa. So it's just, you know, it really sits in a interesting balanced place within itself, because, you know, that's kind of the way we're designed.
It is the way we're designed, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's often called the divine union of how these two parts of yourself really marry. And you'll notice some people like act a little bit more feminine, as in, they're in this creative space all the time, or they're in a more masculine where they're like, let's just get it done, let's fix it. And they might be here because they're here experiencing how it feels to be in one or other of those energies, or one or other of those energies is their comfort zone, their home place. And eventually, hopefully, they'll get to the other side where they can play with both of them into the mix and make that beautiful cake.
Right.
So you have everything that you need to balance it out.
Right. I think that we're very visual when it comes to the masculine feminine energy, and we have our own, concept perception of what it is. Like you look at me, you would think a lot of masculine energy. Look at you, a lot of feminine energy. When in truth, it's vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
She emanates a lot more masculine energy than I do.
Yep.
I just physically look different.
I like to provide structure. I like to get things done.
Yeah.
I like to fix.
Mm-hmm.
I love to hold space for people. I love to provide a stable foundation for somebody who's feeling unstable so they can do their work. This is all the beauty behind our coaching and how we can provide both of those. And we flip-flop too, because I can get very, my witchy side again, I can get very goddessy and flowy and creative with the energy, and she knows how to anchor it in.
Right.
So we both know to play those roles, and we both know to check our judgments at the door of how we've been taught to look at stereotypical gender.
Yeah, so I definitely invite you all to really take a look at how your feminine and masculine energy feels like, looks like, represents itself to you, so that you can have a better understanding of how it works for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so that is the 12 universal laws. So look at these as like your guiding stars, so that when you're trying to make a decision, or hopefully actively making an inspired decision, a conscious decision, these are your like, okay, that's my North Star. Checking all the boxes to all 12. I'm walking towards that. And spend some time. Like if if one is new to you, spend some time working on that one, or playing with them all. Print out a list. You can get a list online. Print them all out and, look through them, research them, study them. Yeah. If there's one in particular that you're really interested in, comment below so that we can make a further video on it. And because we can go really in depth with these. There's different practices and exercises behind them.
Yeah.
To really give you that full recipe for your whatever your cake of life is.
Right, exactly. And like always, we're here. We're here to serve. We're here to help. We're here to mirror. We're here to do all the things that you might need so that you don't have to feel like you're doing this by yourself. There's a lot of information here, and that was just the surface.
Manifest your stuff, because now you have all 12 keys that you can start tapping into instead of just the secret. So you could get rid of that belief that this isn't working, the manifestation's not working, or I just need to keep sitting with my vision board and it will eventually. Make sure you have the complete picture. You're enacting all the different pieces of your recipe. And amazing things will happen.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Be kind.
Peace.